Megan Thomas joining us this afternoon from Inspire Change Counselling. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I'm so glad you've said so quickly that you'd come in. So I spoke to you, I think, last week, and I was hoping you'd say yes, you did. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, tell us a little bit about, firstly, just intro yourself, let us know what you do, and then we'll get into EMDR, because this is something I'm really interested in, and a lot of people are interested in also.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's Megan. I operate Inspire Change Counselling, which is currently located at Port Adelaide. I've been a counsellor since about 2014, but I've recently opened a location in Port Adelaide on Commercial Road.
Nice. It's good to have your own business.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah. I love the flexibility.
Absolutely. So it's just yourself there?
Yes, just myself.
Now, something that we were talking about, yourself and myself, EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. So if you can just start off by talking to us about that, explaining what it is.
Yeah, sure. So EMDR is a psychotherapy treatment that was originally designed to alleviate the distress that's associated with traumatic memories. So EMDR enables people to heal from the symptoms and emotional distress that are the result of disturbing life experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you were telling me when we spoke on the phone that it's to do with the eye movement, and you were saying that when you treat people, you sort of put, what is it, you wave a pen in front of their eyes? How does it work, just on a basic level?
Well, I use my fingers, so I'd probably sit back about 1/2 metre or wherever it's most comfortable for the client, and then move my fingers from side to side in front of their eyes while they follow with their eyes. So they're following my movements with their eyes.
Okay. And then, so when you're doing that, are you asking them questions first?
What we do first is we determine which memory they want to work on, and then I ask the client to hold the thought in their mind, and I ask them to follow my fingers with their eyes as I move my fingers back and forth across their field of vision. And that's actually called bilateral stimulation. So the eye movements actually tax the working memory, which reprocesses the memories and creates a distance, and also desensitizes the memories as well. So memories that might have been particularly strong and traumatizing before, there'll be more distance between those memories. The person will still have the memories, but when they think of them, they won't be as intense.
Is that because their mind is distracted on the movement of the hand, and then their eyes moving, so it's sort of spreading out the emotion, so it's not just focusing on their trauma, but they're a bit distracted?
Yeah, it totally reprocesses the memory in the brain, so it's all to do with how the brain works. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay. Now, what else can people use? So it's, because I saw, is it the stimulus can be the eye movement, what else? Also hand tapping, I thought I saw auditory stimulation, so something with the ears, so the hand tapping.
Yes, there's hand tapping, and you can tap the feet as well. And you can actually do the eye movements and either tap the hands or tap the feet all at the same time. Anything that's going to tax the working memory is really going to help the EMDR to work better.
Okay. So who can benefit from this? Look, I know before we started we were talking about divorce and affairs. I mean, that's considered trauma, very deep trauma, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So it works for any kind of traumatic memories. So I've seen people who've experienced child sexual abuse, people that have been impacted by divorce, people that have been impacted by affairs, people that have been impacted by bullying, basically anything that causes traumatic memories.
Okay.
And it's particularly good for post-traumatic stress disorder as well.
What about phobias, panic, agoraphobia, anxiety and things like that?
Yes, it's really great for all of those things. I recently treated someone with a fear of caterpillars. So a person who wouldn't go out the front door because she was scared of caterpillars, and it was really impacting her life by not being able to do things like go out and hang out the washing or go and take the kids outside. And she did really, really well with her treatment. So I think she had about 3 sessions.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
ask how many sessions it would take. I know it's different for everybody, but like I've heard it's quite successful.
It is very successful, and the number of sessions really depends on the kind of trauma and how many memories are associated with the trauma. So it can be any number of sessions.
So with PTSD, for example, that's sort of post-traumatic stress disorder. What's some examples of PTSD, for example?
People that have returned from war. Yeah, people that have been in relationships where someone's had an affair, people that have been divorced, people that have been in accidents, people that have been bullied. There's any number of life circumstances that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder.
So if someone has gone through that, this therapy, is it coupled with another therapy, or is it just this one that we're focusing on?
It's just this one that we're focusing on mostly. I think it's really good because a lot of people, they do benefit from talk therapy, but talk therapy doesn't necessarily help with the memories if you're still having distressing or disturbing memories. And that's where EMDR is really good for people.
What's talk therapy?
Is like when you're in counselling and you're talking about your problems.
Oh, okay. But so aren't you asking questions to... Oh, is it just the client recalling their distressing situation?
Yeah, they do recall the memory and then just keep it in mind while we're doing the processing. So while we're doing the finger movements and the tapping.
Oh, so okay, so they're keeping it there.
Yeah, they keep it in their mind. So they just got to keep it in the forefront of their mind so that we can tax the working memory. It's to do with where the memory's stored in the brain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Now, I thought it was more talking about how they feel about it.
No, not necessarily. There doesn't have to be a lot of talking with EMDR. Yeah.
It's just going through the trauma itself.
Yeah, there doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of talking, which is one of the reasons people really like EMDR.
So you do most of the talking?
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Oh, can you give us an example?
An example.
So, for example, look, I was watching a show last week. It's no secret, so I'll just say it because this person has put it out there publicly. Dorit from some TV show in America, and she was held at gunpoint recently, and she's doing this therapy, EMDR therapy.
Yes.
She's in the public eye, so she's sort of said it to the world that she got held at gunpoint.
Oh, okay.
And the EMDR therapy is what she's doing, and the cameras were in there while she was having the session, but they only showed like a little bit of it, so I don't know exactly how it worked, but she was just visualizing the guy having her in that situation, and she was sort of crying. They didn't show any more, but you know, I wondered exactly sort of how it worked. So she doesn't sit there and say, I felt this, I felt that. So she doesn't go through how it made her feel.
No, she doesn't have to do that with EMDR. We just ask her to bring the memory to mind, just so that memory's in the working memory. Yeah. So that's a really good benefit of EMDR. You don't have to necessarily go right deep into the traumatizing experience that you had. You just need to bring it to the forefront of your mind.
So what does that do, bringing it to the forefront? Just makes people deal with it, because people can sometimes push things to the back of their memory.
Yeah, it puts it in the working memory, and when the memory's in the working memory, then that's how EMDR works with the processing. That's how the memory gets reprocessed in the brain.
Okay, and so when it's reprocessed, how does that benefit the person after with this therapy?
They can still have memories. They're probably more vague memories, but what will happen is the memory won't be as intense, so they might not have all the feelings and the sensations that would normally come back with the memories. Like
when people recall something and their heart flutters, or they get a funny feeling in their stomach, that all goes?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where the desensitization is.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way that it works.
And so what part of the brain is affected? Is it the frontal region? Is it the back part? You know, like when you see on scans, there's certain parts of the brain are lit up on the scanning machines? Is memory at the back? Is it at the front? Is it what part of the brain?
I can't exactly remember, to be honest. Brain science is very complicated.
Yeah,
so.
And it's probably the whole brain in the end of the day, isn't it? Like it all sort of lights up with anxiety,
That's
doesn't
right.
it? It's the whole brain that gets affected.
Mm-hmm. Something else that's interesting what we do with EMDR is before we start the process, we create a calm space for the person. So calm space imagery is a way to start building a sense of safety. So by developing a safe space in your imagination, we can have somewhere safe to go if you're talking about what's happening and it's becoming too traumatic for you during the therapy. And this works because when we imagine something happening, we tend to react as though it's real.
So you go through that before you start the session, you sort of go through the deep breathing and get people relaxed, and if they need to go to a safe space in their mind, you sort of create that space for it.
Yeah, that's right. And it can be somewhere real that they've been, it can be somewhere imaginary, it can be somewhere they've made up, just somewhere that feels really safe to them.
Right.
So if
like the happy place in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
that film?
Yeah.
You know, your happy place.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really important that everyone has that place, and then if the EMDR does become a bit distressing, then they can return to that safe place.
Okay.
And most people really enjoy doing the safe place exercise.
So is that what, just like 10 minutes or so before you start?
Yeah, it's a visualization exercise. So we go through a script, and then I'm encouraging people to imagine different things, and I talk through it with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I find most people manage to use their safe space in ordinary life as well. Even when they're not in therapy, if they're feeling anxiety, they can use their safe place.
What, they do that without realising they do it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, like how?
So I've had clients tell me that they've been feeling some anxiety, so they've had to sit down and relax, and they've gone to their safe place in their mind. Yeah, and thinking about that has helped them to ease their anxiety and make them feel better.
Okay. And that involves sort of like just lying down in the lounge room or lying on the bed. Is that it too, or they can go to that sort of safe place while they're gardening, or do they have to relax and put their feet up?
It's good if you can relax and put your feet up, but you can basically do it anywhere at any time.
Even when you're driving?
Yeah.
So just visualise something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I have a safe place. Mine is on a holiday I went to in Port Douglas, and being on a secluded beach. So when I need to go to a safe place, that's what I visualise.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can be anything, so everyone is different.
And so you couple that with the deep breathing exercises, because we all know how important deep breathing is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You go through that with the client, the breathing to relax, breath work?
Not really as a part of EMDR, but that's something that can be done separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what other things do you do at your clinic, your counselling?
I do cognitive behaviour therapy, I do relationship counselling, I do individual counselling, I do counselling for people on the NDIS, and of course I do EMDR as well.
Mm-hmm. So CBT, what's that, if someone's listening and they're curious what CBT is?
Okay, that's cognitive behaviour therapy. So that's looking at your thoughts and how your thoughts relate to your behaviour. It's a really common kind of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you use that with a client?
CBT is lots of paperwork. So we go through different activities and we'll explore their different ways of thinking about things, and we'll look at how that different kind of thinking relates to their behaviour and what they're doing with their behaviour. Yeah. So we look at how you can change that thinking and that behaviour to get better outcomes.
Oh, right. So if someone's got a problem, it's more like sort of facing the problem and questioning themselves to sort of go through the steps to say, okay, I'm worried about this thing. Why am I worried about it? So they're basically more analysing it. Is that it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So before we finish off, what other things do you do if people are interested in coming to your to Inspire Change Counselling?
We'll have a really comfortable office, and I offer coffee and tea, and I do all different types of therapy, and it's a really welcoming and comfortable space for people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And you've got a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.inspire-change.com.au.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Megan.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.